and always, we're here for you. Good night.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com, and McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Tourism Month kicking off with a wave embodying the theme Half a Day Starts Here. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with a look from Tumon.
Supporters call a pair of bills the solution to Guam's doctor shortage, while critics warn it could create oversight gaps and vulnerable working conditions. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with a debate on Bills 302 and 303 coming up.
We continue our coverage with the delay of the Simon Sanchez project. Stay tuned tonight as we go over a sit-down interview with Acting Superintendent Judy Wonpat. I'm Don Sulat with the details.
Hafa and good evening, everybody. TGIF, welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Jason Salas, and thanks for ending your week with us. Here's your top stories. And first off, we're going to Tumon, as from the Guam Visitors Bureau to the Nico Hotel. Tourism stakeholders lined the sidewalk along Paleta San Vitores Road in the heart of the island's tourism capital this evening, signaling a start of Tourism Month. One of those in attendance was our Mitsuki Hirayama, who reports from Tumon.
An incredible show of support here in Tumon for a wave kicking off Tourism Month. And joining us here is Regine Bescoli. She's the president and CEO of the Guam Visitors Bureau. Regine, tell us about Tourism Month and this wave and why it's so important.
We are so thrilled to be out here today, Suki, celebrating Tourism Month and the 14,400 people in our community who really bring tourism to life, not just for our visitors, but for our local residents every single day. This theme for this year's Tourism Month is Half a Day Starts Here, and so we're just really focusing on our workforce, all of the people up in town Tumon and in our villages who really help to bring this part of our economy to life, and we're very proud to be able to do that. And there's a bunch of different ways that we're celebrating throughout the month of May. We have completed a tree planting on May 1st, so to kick us off last Friday. We're doing the wave this week, as well as school outreach events. We've been at Carbolito Elementary, FBLG, JFK, George Washington High School. I believe we're going to the Academy of Our Lady of Guam and a number of other schools throughout the island for the next few days. And then we'll also be doing a proclamation signing next week. So looking forward to that, as well as a small business showcase. There's a number of different ways that we're showing our community involvement and collaborating with our other tourism partners throughout the month.
Right, and you were talking a little bit about this month-long celebration. Do you have any call to action for our community to come out and celebrate with you guys?
Yes, absolutely. We want to encourage them to continue supporting tourism. When you support tourism, you're really supporting your friends and your neighbors, all of the people who welcome everybody from the airport to, right at the front desk of hotels and restaurants and small businesses across the island, and really having that ripple effect in our economy, but that ripple effect sharing the Half a Day spirit as well.
Right, and this wave, there's expected to be people like lining the Paleta San Vitores Road from GBB all the way down to Nico Hotel.
Right.
Who's out here? Tell us about the workforce that's out here.
Yeah, so we have a number of our partners joining us. We have folks here at GVB from the Hilton, Riga Hotel is joining us, folks from Stroll, the Hyatt, the Dusit are out there, a number of our tourism partners, and also our partners from the Guam International Airport. So we're super thrilled to have all of them join us. We know that tourism works for our entire community, and it's great to see that show of support today.
Right, and certainly there's so many ways the whole community can support our island's #1 economic driver, and we'll have more information about the month-long celebration right now on KUAM.com. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. This is Regine Bescoli reporting for KUAM News here in Tumon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Matsuki. Great job on that report. All right, moving on in our rundown. What started as an effort to address our island's doctor shortage is now raising larger questions about medical oversight, labor protections, and the future of healthcare locally. Nevaeh Anderson has this story.
In a 4-hour joint public hearing for Bills 302 and 303, lawmakers and physicians debated how Guam should expand its healthcare workforce through foreign medical graduates, or FMGs, and internationally trained physicians, known as ITPs. The debate stems from Public Law 38-107, introduced by Senator Tello Taitigui. The law created new licensing pathways for certain foreign-trained doctors, including a provisional licensing pathway for ITPs to practice in government-funded facilities like the Guam Memorial Hospital and the Department of Public Health and Social Services under supervision. But the law drew sharp criticism from local physicians after language from Bill 294 by the governor was adopted without a public hearing. Now the matter is back before the legislature in 2 bills. Health Committee Chair Senator Sabrina Salas Matanani says her Bill 302 would expand the program set up in Public Law 38-107 into private healthcare settings while adding more structured oversight requirements. Meanwhile, Bill 303 by Senator Tello Taitigui would require the Guam Board of Medical Examiners to establish rules and regulations for the program within 60 days. But Brianna Sablan, acting administrator for the Public Health Professional Licensing Office, warned Guam may not yet have the regulatory infrastructure or staffing needed to safely expand the program so quickly.
Meeting these statutory mandates within 60 days is exceptionally challenging.
Private sector physicians restated their push for private clinics and hospitals inclusion, arguing many of the specialists needed to supervise FMGs and ITPs work outside of the government. But Dr. Nathaniel Berg, chairman of the Guam Board of Medical Examiners, argued that centralizing the program in government facilities creates a more unified system of oversight and accountability, rather than scattering them across multiple private practices.
You have regulatory oversight, direct collaboration with the Guam Board of Medical Examiners, not indirect, where we would have to potentially subpoena things. You have legislative oversight. The legislature remains the authority to review, question, and even intervene in some ways. That layer does not exist in private practice.
And under the Organic Act, the executive branch also has the authority to initiate review of the program at any time. He also cautioned against unintentionally creating a system where FMGs or ITPs could become too dependent on sponsoring entities for their employment, immigration status, and licensure pathway, a possibility that contributed to the failure of similar legislation in other jurisdictions.
So internationally trained physicians are inherently vulnerable. There was great concern over coercion, that's hours of duties, unsafe care, and the like. Fear of termination and deportation is absolutely going to be real with them, so that they won't want to say no if someone says, hey, we need you to stay an extra couple hours the next few weeks, or we need you to practice in areas that they may not feel that they're ready to do so.
Ultimately, the debate now centers on how Guam should balance its urgent need for more doctors with oversight, patient safety, licensing standards, and protections for the physicians entering the program. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
We move now to education-related news as we continue our coverage with the ongoing fight to build a new home for the Sharks. We've reported that the Simon Sanchez High School project was supposed to have broken ground late last year, and the project's been in limbo for months due to a protest putting it in a mandatory pause. Here's KUAM's Dawn Sulat, who spoke with GDOE's acting superintendent, Dr. Judy Wonpat, for her perspective on the situation.
We signed off, and we provided reasons as to why we need to move forward with the building of the schools and end this protest.
Is what Acting Superintendent Dr. Wonpat told KUAM in an interview, giving her perspective on the catalyst of the recent delay of the Simon Sanchez project. As KUAM previously reported, the new home of the Sharks hit another roadblock when it hit a mandatory pause due to a procurement protest by General Pacific Services. The protest claims 2 things, with the first being GDOE superintendent did not sign the determination,
which is not true, or partially true. One is the documents were sent to me to sign, and I did sign. However, when it made it up to the AG's office, he rejected it because he said I was still in acting capacity. So it was redrafted again by DPW, and sent back to us, but this time I signed it. So he signed it.
The second is that GDOE failed to show an award without delay is necessary to protect the substantial interests of Guam, a statement the acting superintendent tells KUAM she disagrees with.
It's untrue because then I worked with the principal of Simon Sanchez. She and we provided a long list, to their legal counsel, at the governor's office, and they compiled all the documents that the OPA was requiring and turned it in. So we did provide all that information, but I just don't know what has happened. It was just beyond our, it was beyond me already in terms of what I can do.
It looks as though the project will continue to stall, as General Pacific Services attorney Josh Walsh in a status hearing on Wednesday saying,
"Yes, my client wants to press forward."
For Guam's News Network, I'm Don Sulat.
Please stay tuned. We're back after this.
Guam is coming back, stronger every day. And this Mother's Day, it's time to celebrate her. Something beautiful, something that makes her smile, something just for her. Because Mom's gonna love this. Kmart Guam, right here with you.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Welcome back to Primetime, everybody. I'm Jason Salas. Guam's mayors are continuing to serve as the front lines of our island's typhoon recovery effort as they begin collecting the damage data needed to seek federal assistance. Nevaeh Anderson explains in this report.
Nearly 1 month after Typhoon Sinlaku touched down on Guam, recovery efforts are still underway. At Wednesday's Mayor's Council of Guam meeting, village leaders discussed disaster preparedness and the continued push to support residents hit hardest by the storm. Representatives from the Guam Recovery Office under the Office of the Governor met with mayors to outline the first step in seeking federal disaster assistance through FEMA, the initial damage assessment. Disaster Recovery Coordinator Forrest Chargaloff explained that the information collected now will determine whether Guam qualifies for federal aid.
So the territory has to do an initial damage assessment, which is this part right here. And once we have that data, it informs and prompts the territory and Guam Recovery Office to work with FEMA to do a joint preliminary damage assessment. And that's when FEMA and the Guam Recovery Office goes and does a visit to your house, and then they assess the damage. So once we have that, then we take that and we aggregate the data and we create a letter for the governor to President Trump requesting for a major disaster declaration. And if it is approved, then we get the monies.
Mayor's offices will serve as the central collection points for residents reporting storm damage. For now, officials say residents only need to provide 4 things: their name, contact information, address, and the level of damage sustained. Damage categories include affected, minor, major, or destroyed. Officials say FEMA's primary focus will be on main residences, including essential utilities attached to the home like generators. Sheds and non-essential structures will not count toward the assessment. Chargaloff emphasized that submitting information does not guarantee FEMA funding, but it is a required step in the process. And Recovery Office Deputy Director Jack Hattig also reassured mayors that residents will have a chance to provide more details later when FEMA and local officials conduct on-site damage inspections. Meanwhile, MCOG President Mayor Jesse Allig urged villages to stay ready year-round, stressing the importance of maintaining equipment, clearing drainage systems, and trimming trees before the next storm threat emerges. The council also agreed to pursue legislative action to extend the use of $4.75 million in emergency response funding to help cover continued recovery needs, including debris removal, generator support, and future storm preparation. And if your home or property sustained damage from Typhoon Sinlaku, officials are urging you to contact your mayor's office to complete an initial damage assessment. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
All right, thanks so much, Nevaeh. Let's take a look at regional weather news now. As although Tropical Storm Hagupit does not threaten our region, it's expected to pass near or over Yap tonight, bringing heavy rain, thunderstorms, and damaging winds through early Saturday. The NWS says tropical storm warnings remain in effect for Yap proper, Ngulu, Ulithi, and Fais. As of Friday morning, Hagupit was packing sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, moving west-northwest. Forecasters say the storm is expected to strengthen slightly as it tracks through western Yap State overnight. Residents there are urged to finalize preparations, shelter in a hardened structure, and avoid inter-island travel until conditions improve. Rainfall as much as 12 inches are possible near the center of the storm, as seas of 10 to 15 feet are also likely across the area. Now, once again, the Marianas, including Guam, are not under any tropical cyclone threat at this time, but local residents are encouraged to continue to monitoring updates from the NWS. In other news tonight, government leaders and public health gathered for a proclamation signing recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month. Our next story is with Janice Carrasco.
May is recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness and encouraging open conversations about mental health. Government leaders, community partners, and public health gathered for a proclamation signing to show their support and emphasize the importance of access to resources and support systems for those facing mental health challenges. Deputy Director of Behavioral Health, James Cooper Nurse, shares what the theme for Mental Health Month is.
This year's theme for Mental Health Month, show up for you, for others, together, is exactly that. It is more than a slogan. It is a commitment and a call to action. This May, we want to move beyond awareness and step into something bigger. The courage to show up for yourself, even when it's hard. The grace to show up for others, even when you don't have the right words. And the strength that comes from showing up together as a community that believes no one should have to carry their struggles alone.
Cooper highlights some of the events that will be taking place and encourages the community to attend. For a list of their events, follow them on their social media at GBHWC.
And as always, if you or someone you love is in need of support, our 90-day crisis lifeline is available 24/7 as they work throughout the storm.
Nobody has to go through mental health struggles alone. No matter how difficult things may feel, don't be too proud or too shy to reach out and speak to someone. There are people who care, people who want to help, and resources available to support those in need. Together as a community, nobody has to fight these battles alone. Remember, you matter. Janice Carrasco, KUAM News.
Well, Janice just noted the May is, of course, Mental Health Awareness Month. The month of May is also officially a Foster Care Month, with this year's theme being Powered by Hope, Strengthened by Prevention. According to Department of Public Health and Social Services Director Teresa Areola, all in attendance said every child deserves to grow up safe, supported, and cared for. She also added, when support is accessible and the community stays engaged, kids are better protected and families are stronger. During a recent proclamating signing down at Adelup, Areola told those in attendance that as of March 20th, there are 689 foster kids in foster care, 94 licensed foster homes, and 198 relative foster homes and 5 group homes. She also said the figures reflect real lives with real needs and assistance. Areola also said there's going to be another call out for more foster parents, as the island will be losing some military foster parents due to relocation and new duty stations. For the time being, here is how you can help our island's next generation. Here's the acting governor right now, Joshua Tenorio, with what you can do if you would like to open your home to a foster child.
The first step is making a phone call to the Bureau of Children's Wellness, to the BOSA offices, to respond to some of the calls and the public information. Come to the 5K that Therese was talking about on May 31st, or ask people. Sometimes people just need to maybe get some more information.
Okay, now the 5K run walk that the acting governor mentioned was the Division of Children's Wellness Superhero 5K 2K run, walk, or fly event. Remember, you are superheroes, so you can fly, maybe even teleport. This happens on Sunday, May 31st with showtime at 5 a.m. and go time at 6 a.m. Please come in your superhero outfits. We want to see everything. MCU, Disney, Wolverine can run right next to Superman. It's totally cool. To find out the registration link for you, how you can register, it's on KUAM.com.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Right in time for Mother's Day this weekend, it's the I Heart Mom sign. This is in Manila.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Seven minutes remaining. Score brought to you by Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying, it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it, couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I forgot. I actually came here before once with Betty. Shout out to Betty.
Foodie Call is presented by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Happy day, guys. Welcome back to another edition of Foodie Call.
Today we are here at Cafe Au Lait.
Today we're going to be trying out some of their top drinks made with the one and only Devondale.
First we have their signature horchata latte.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Ooh. And then their iced tea, but it's raspberry. Iced raspberry royale tea.
Yes. And then over here I'm gonna call this the wicked drink. It's Glinda and Alpha, but this is their strawberry matcha latte.
Okay, let's try it.
Cheers!
Oh, I was not expecting the cinnamon, but it tastes so good.
It's kind of similar to like Letizia drinks. Here, yeah.
It reminds me of like Cinnabon.
Or that, yeah.
It tastes like Cinnabon, like literally Cinnabon as a drink.
You know how it is, girl.
Mmm. Oh, I like it. I can taste the syrup. You can see the syrup. Maybe I should have mixed her more, but. Oh, I love it. I like this one, but I would give it like a 9 out of 10. But this one's a 10 out of 10 because I love iced tea and it's so good.
Today, I give this one a 10 out of 10. I think this is one of the best strawberry matchas I've tasted. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up another edition of Foodie Call. Thank you to Cafe Au Lait for taking care of us, and thank you to Devondale for sponsoring the segment.
And check them out on Instagram at Cafe Au Lait Coffee to learn about their hours, their location, and come by and check them out.
Yeah, maybe they'll have new drinks around, so just make sure to keep updated on their social medias.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys in the next Foodie Call. Bye!
Foodie Call is presented by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Check out the Agate Mango Festival 2026 from May 22 to May 24. Sponsored by Pepsi.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Fresh Food Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas.
Okay, you guys, now I am old as dirt, right? I graduated 34 years ago. There's not a lot I remember from school, but one thing I do remember is that government is a living, breathing thing. It continues to evolve, it grows, it expands, it stays current, and it stays contemporary. So, our friends over at the University of Guam, now UOG I remember, right? And I always remember that UOG is very, very progressive. So, we are having Governance at a Crossroads, a workshop panel series, and it has some of the biggest thinkers in the private sector, in business, in government, public policy, people that in academia, all talking about how government is changing, is evolving. You know, you've got AI, you've got the world a lot smaller because of information, you've got glowing geopolitical tensions, everything that is happening right now, and how is the American system of government, and with us being a U.S. territory, how are we adapting to make sure that the services, the framework of rules and everything, make sure that they're constantly evolving so that we can continue to live the life that we do. Fascinating stuff and everything. We're going to be there, and I can't wait for those panel discussions. Really, really good speakers there. All right, flavors of Micronesia. So we go from public policy to rich cultural heritage. And is there anything better that binds the different islands and territories and municipalities of Micronesia than our flavors, right? Our food, our music, our dance, our song, our emotion, the way we greet each other, the way we show respect. And you are going to see all of that and feel all of that and experience all of that down at Valley of the Lati in God's country, down in beautiful Talapofo, right on the river, right? So jump on the boat, Take that little cruise, one of the most beautiful experiences you're ever going to have here on Guam. Make sure to be respectful when you get to the, to the mainland and everything. Say Guelo Zanguela, and then you are going to experience the flavors of Micronesia in all of their glories. And we're all about hospitality. We're also about sharing too. So it is going to be an unbelievable experience. Got pushed back a little because of the typhoon, but our friends down at Valley of the Latte are going to put on an amazing show. All right, speaking of amazing, right? After you've considered some of the public policy, after you've experienced a lot of the culture, we got to go out and get fit, right? Mind, spirit, body, and health. So make sure to check out Chamorro Village on the 24th of May, because one run walk for autism. If you want to do the 2K, that's super cool. If you want to do the 5K, it's 3.1 miles. It's cool too. If you want to walk or run, depending on your competitive ability, no problem. But all of us are going to show up, and all of us are going to do this to help families that are dealing with autism. The autism community together is an amazing organization, and that is what they do. Please make sure when you pick up your dry fit, wear something teal. Have a band, have a sweatband, shoelaces, anything like that, because teal is a color throughout May, and we raise awareness about autism on our island, in our country, in our world. See, it's thinking big, thinking macro, and it's all about thinking about love. And we're thinking nice, because that's what we do, and we are being nice to our birthday celebrants today.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Someone here is getting old.
Someone here is getting old.
Your Cold Stone Creamery birthday cake winner
for this week goes to...
We are going straight to this week's winner, everybody, of a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake, and it is Misty Santos, who had a birthday earlier this week. So Misty, we hope you don't get misty-eyed, because we are going to hook you up with a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake, and whether the day is hot, whether it's raining, whether it's windy, it is delicious, and you are really, really going to love it, and your friends and your family are too. So you get the biggest piece of cake, but we also hope you share. So Misty, happy birthday from all of us once again at KUAM. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
And of course, we want to wish a happy early Mother's Day to all of the moms, grandmas, ninas, foster moms, adoptive moms, dog moms, all the moms out there, mothers-in-law. All of you are amazing queens of our heart. I'm Jason Salas, and enjoy your Mother's Day weekend. Bye-bye.
It's the One Micronesia Show, brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Reach your possible.
Ali, Bogithim, Hafide Zantiro, Rananim, Kasalele, Lengwo, and Yakwe. Welcome back to another episode of the One Micronesia Show. First off, we got to thank our sponsors. Thank you so much, mahalo to Bank of Hawaii for jumping on and sponsoring and keeping the stories alive. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, so let's get to our episode. First up, we talked to the president of the Student Body Association at FBLG Middle School, Hayden John Grumo. Check it out.
Leadership doesn't always wait for adulthood. Sometimes it rises early, shaped by culture, community, and challenges that demand a voice. For Hayden John Grumo, that voice has been years in the making.
At a very young age, I knew I loved helping people. I knew that, I had a big heart, and I knew that I always wanted to, one day make it big and make a difference in the world. So I think, just holding that hope and, always having that dream of making a difference and helping people really does tie in. And from a very young age, I knew that one day I wanted to have some sort of leadership role, or I wanted to be able to contribute to my community and just give back to people. So I think that's really when I realized that I wanted to be a leader.
Born and raised on Guam with proud Yapese roots, Hayden grew up grounded in tradition, carrying with him the values of respect, service, and responsibility. Values that would eventually guide him into leadership roles as a Student Body Association president and the National Junior Honor Society chapter president at FBLG.
Being raised here on Guam, but still having my Yapese roots running deep within me, I take what we're accustomed to in the culture, I take our values, our values of family, the importance of being there for one another and helping out people when it's needed, and always being ready to answer the call. So I think that's really how my Yapese roots are able to tie into the way I lead and the leadership that I exhibit.
But for Hayden, leadership isn't about titles, it's about purpose.
For me, leadership truly means that, we need to deliver results in a timely manner. But to me, the more important aspect of leadership is that we need to be able to keep our word. We need to be able to be held accountable, making sure to stick with our word and, transparency when becoming a leader and when we are showing leadership. So that's basically what leadership means to me.
At a young age, he discovered his calling to serve, a calling shaped not by just his upbringing, but by the realities faced by the students around him. Because for Hayden and his fellow classmates, middle school didn't look the way it was supposed to. No hallways to walk through, no campus to call their own. In a letter he wrote as he prepares to leave middle school behind, Hayden describes his journey as a new chapter in the same book. A powerful reminder that while times move forward, some challenges remain unchanged.
As a new chapter in the same book, and really what I really try to emphasize within that phrase is just, just the whole situation that's going on with our Northern District schools right now. As we go through, as I went through middle school, I always had the hope that one day we would be back at our home campus. So my first year in middle school, we weren't able to, I didn't think too much about it. I had hope for the future. Then my 7th grade year, the second year came rolling around, and we still didn't receive as promising results, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep my last bit of hope for my 8th grade year. But it is unfortunate that, I'm going to be promoting into high school in less than a month. And, we are unfortunately still in the situation that we're in right now. We're still in the double sessioning situation. At the end of the day, we're still not fully back at our home campuses.
For years, students have heard the same promise: we will get you home. Yet for many, like Hayden, that promise has yet to become a reality.
I have never had a full instructional day at the campus. Of course, I've seen the campus, I've passed by, I've seen what the campus would have looked like, but having like a walk through the halls, seeing what the classrooms look like, I never really had that opportunity, which is sad, because when future generations ask me, oh, how was FB, where was this classroom at, how big was our gym, they're gonna ask about these little things, and it's just gonna be hard for me to really answer them because I was never able to be there and I wasn't able to experience it. Not being able to have that academic identity, not knowing what school, I know, of course, I'll always know that I'm from FBLG Middle School, I'm always going to be a Hawk, but I'm never going to know what the true home of the Hawks really did look like from the inside.
And still, despite uncertainty, despite the unanswered questions, Hayden chose to lead. To speak up not just for himself, but for every student navigating the same experience. Because to him, leadership means accountability on all sides, not just from students expected to succeed, but from the systems meant to support them.
So I think going out to, just my fellow student leaders, you guys are doing very good. You guys are doing awesome. You guys are doing exceptional, in this fight for what's best for us. So I really do commend my FB Leon Guerrero Middle School fellow student leaders, as well as the student leaders in Simon Sanchez, such as Aisha Torrente, Zoe Toigui. I really do commend all of them, and it is one fight, because when you're a Shark, there's a very high probability that you were a Hawk, which means you would have experienced the same thing the Hawks are feeling, and that would be the same case vice versa. As you're a Hawk, you're experiencing what's going on right now, and as you go into a Shark, you're going to go ahead and experience what they're feeling. Message to the leaders, to our leaders is basically, I know we've been asking for change. We've been asking for change for, as mentioned, going on over 2 decades now, and for FB, they're about to go on their 5th year. If I'm not mistaken, their 5th year double sessioning with Okudu. So, I think the biggest message going out there is, of course, we want change ASAP. We want change as quickly as possible, but we would appreciate if you would rather, just tell us and say, okay, we're going to be honest with you. We're not sure when the change is going to come, but give us a timeline within the next 5 to 10 years. That will give more comfort compared to if you were to say, oh, it'll be done by, for example, it'll be done by next week, and then next week rolls around the corner, and unfortunately it isn't fulfilled. So that's the biggest thing for me on my end, and I'm pretty sure my peers and my people can they can agree with me. At the end of the day, it's always just about less about timeline and speed. It's more about accountability. It's more about transparency in the end.
As he prepares to enter high school, Hayden carries more than just memories. He carries a message, a call for change, a call for action, and a reminder that voices of students matter.
If I can do it, you can do it. You know, our voices, to be quite frank, you know, our voices have been a little silent for a long period of time. But you know, we put in the hard work, you know, like I said, if we put in the hard work, the determination, you know, if we set our mind on something that we want, we can do it. So my biggest message to the other FSM, FAS students in school is, you know, don't give up. You know, if you want to be a leader, go out, be a leader. You know, if you ever need help, let me know. If you need help on being a leader, you know, if you ever want to, if you hope to one day go out there and make a change, you know, don't stop. Keep your eye on the goal, you know, and along the way, you know, you're going to meet people. Along the way, you're going to get opportunities that not many people are fortunate enough to get. So my biggest message is don't give up. You know, take every opportunity you get to express your leadership and be the leader and be for the people.
Because even without a campus to stand on, leaders like Hayden are still finding ways to rise.
What an amazing and inspiring talk we had with Hayden. Man, such a brilliant and well-spoken kid. And like I said, the future for him, definitely going to be good. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more The One Micronesia Show.
It's the One Micronesia Show, brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Reach your possible.
How deep do Pizza Hut's roots run in the islands? Through all the decades, we know what you love. Great taste at an even better price. Like our large one-topping carry-out pizza for just $14.99. You choose your favorite topping, pepperoni, olives, sausage, or any other single topping. Our $14.99 large one-topping pizza. Order online and carry one out today. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
It's the One Hawaii. Reach your possible.
And we're back. And this next feature, we talk about something, an idea, an initiative that's been around, I can't believe I'm going to say this, for 20 years. I'm talking about the Micronesia Challenge Initiative. Check it out.
For generations, the people of Micronesia have lived in deep connection with the ocean and the land, relying on them not just for survival, but for identity, culture, and future. 20 years ago, a bold vision was set in motion, uniting the region under one common goal. That vision was first introduced by former Palau President Tami Ramasao Jr., helping bring together leaders across Micronesia under a shared commitment to protect the natural resources that sustained life. From that vision came the Micronesia Challenge, a regional initiative focused on conserving marine and terrestrial ecosystems across the islands. Vanji Lujan, chairperson of the Micronesia Challenge Steering Committee, shares how the initiative began and why it was urgently needed to respond to growing environmental pressures across the region.
We're celebrating our 20th anniversary of this regional initiative that was started in Palau by President Remengesau in 2006. In the beginning, it was really about ensuring that we wanted to protect our marine and terrestrial resources for generations to come. And at that time, the regional leaders were getting together, and this is something that President Remengesau proposed to the leaders of KUAM, CNMI, later on RMI and FSM. And it was well received because we all realized that protection of our natural resources will ensure our future generations have these resources to live off of and to be able to enjoy.
What started as a bold commitment has grown over the years, expanding its goals and strengthening collaboration across Micronesia.
So it included all the islands of KUAM, CNMI, the Republic of Marshall Islands, the Republic of Palau, and the Federated States of Micronesia. And what it was really looking at conservation on a regional scale. Because, as you know, we have migratory birds that visit different parts of the island. Our fisheries come from RMI and FSM. So it was really understanding that these resources are something that we could share, that within the region it needs to be better studied and monitored to ensure that each of the islands have enough resources for their communities to have sustainable livelihoods.
In the Republic of Palau, a nation long recognized as a leader in environmental conservation, the Micronesia Challenge has helped strengthen and expand ongoing efforts to protect both land and sea. Palau has consistently been at the forefront, leading by example and inspiring conservation efforts across the region and beyond.
3 years before the Micronesia Challenge, Palau created a network of protected areas. And with that platform came the Micronesia Challenge, and Palau was ready to say, yeah, with the 20% marine and 20% terrestrial protection, we are already meeting our goals because we have our protected areas network. I am proud to say that after 20 years, we met our goal before 2020. We have met over 20% of our waters is protected. We have 20% terrestrial protected areas, and that's including those registered in the protected areas network and beyond the network. We have a really unique system where the states who are the real resource owners, of these prestige resources, the land and water, they nominate their sites, whether it's in the land or in water, their marine protected areas. They nominate their site into the network, but at the same time, they can have their own contribution areas. So while they're in the network, we help facilitate and coordinate financial and technical resources down to them. With that initiative of the Protected Areas Network came about the Micronesia Challenge and really pushed and encouraged the other jurisdictions to also protect their resources.
And looking ahead, Palau continues to build on that legacy, aligning with new regional goals leading into 2030.
The goal now is for Micronesia Challenge 2030 to effectively manage 50% of the water resources or marine resources, and correct me if I'm wrong, 30% of the terrestrial resources. Basically, we have established our protected areas. So what are we doing now to effectively manage them? It's one thing to just have a site. It's another to say, yes, we are protecting them and we are managing them effectively for the purpose of saving our biodiversity, but more importantly, for the livelihoods of our people.
In Yap, the Island Resource Conservancy of WAUB continues to benefit from the Micronesia Challenge, strengthening its conservation work while empowering local communities to take part in protecting their environment.
This is a conservation NGO newly created in Yap by a group of like-minded individuals with big goals and big dreams, but one of our passion and we're working towards accomplishing is helping communities develop management plans for their protected areas, but also more holistically how to protect their natural resources. So we help developing those plans. We talk story with communities, and then we help them write up plans. And then we're also looking to help fundraising to fund some of those activities, natural resource management activities from our communities. I also am working with the Yap Catholic High School, and so they've expanded some of their traditional school roles into helping support communities by managing grants and helping just, be that bridge between aid, both technical and financial, directly to the community. So, and that's a gap that's apparent in, I want to say, not just in Yap, but all across the Micronesia region. So organizations like IRCW and Yap Catholic High School are hoping to contribute in that regard, and we hope to see more of these NGOs and CSOs contributing to the overall Micronesia Challenge goal.
Here on Guam, the Micronesia Challenge has supported efforts to strengthen conservation programs, expand protective areas, and build greater community awareness around environmental protection.
So one of the things that we've learned over the last 20 years is that there's always something to learn from each of the different islands. So we learn